you had, how does that going to be helpful to group, or you can say is a column or a group that going to be enhanced or enforces a link between the data in two tables. Such cases we can call it we use as a foreign key. So first table is going to be referred as some table. Let's look on this table. Create a table projects. In this we have project ID, project name with somehow primary key also, and start date and end date. So you can see here we have project ID and also we have project ID in this case. So at the time I realized I need to join with the project ID and the project ID with respect to the project milestone and the projects table. It will be enhance your system to understand to join to separate between the foreign key. So I would say foreign key is a common between the two different tables, so that we can call it as references to that foreign key as a project ID. Let's see, I'm just creating the project milestone to create a foreign key constraint with respect to the other tables by using foreign key is a keyword, and you're just adding into the project ID for that matter, and giving the references to project ID in the projects table. Similar, yeah, this is a very basic syntax for the foreign key. You have to promote this project ID in the project milestone to become as a foreign key is going to be referred as a project ID of the projects table. Similarly, you can also assign a name of the foreign key constraint. So you can see here creating the table project milestone ID, data type integer, auto increment. We'll go and learn auto increment also, and primary key and the project ID, integer data type. Similar. These are standard stuff, right? We already learned these things. And constraint along with FK project with corresponding to the foreign key, the project ID. And this is the name of the constraint, you can say. And adding the foreign key constraint to the existing tables, or you can also drop for the foreign key that is also allowed in the foreign key itself. Alter the table, and what are the disadvantages between the if you delete that thing. We can also discuss a little later so that you will get some ideas. So alter table one. Okay, so I'm just altering the removing or adding the foreign key with respect to the different one, fk key column, ek key column, like that. So yeah, you can alter it with corresponding to some of the references, and alter the table and removing the foreign key just using the drop constraint. That's it. So if you want to use drop the constraint, what will happen? So what will happen with respect to the reference table? So let's go and check out that. If suppose I have a record with corresponding to the foreign key, that is a project ID in one table. In the other table, I have a project ID with corresponding to it. It's going to be associated with both the tables, right? As a foreign key. So what will happen at the end? At the end, you recorded any you deleted any record. Suppose employee project ID is equal to 20. So you deleted in this table T2. It will be affected. It will be affected to table one, because it is not present at the time you're going to be search, at the time you're going to be joining the two tables. So at the time it will throw an error, maybe. At the time it will throw an error. So at the time you have to be concluded with respect to the tables to join with the foreign key. You have to be very careful. So removing of the foreign key is very straightforward, but you have to be very careful to understand why it is going to be removed and what are the different challenges to face for that record to remove. You can set maybe the active is equal to no. That is also always in this case. Okay, so some other different technique to understand the data truncation. Okay, data truncating of any table. So you have all the records in your database. So if suppose you have a records with corresponding your data set. So this is a complete data set you had. So what will happen if I have all the records in my data set? It's going to be enhance my results much better. But what if you are doing something called as a full load every day? The full load is going to be very helpful to do truncating of all the details in a table. Truncating of all the details in a table. So truncating of all the details in a table that will be going to be enhanced to get new values, new values, new values, new values. So all the new values going to be updated in your database according to in your table. Schema may not be mismatched. Schema may not be mismatched at the time. Schema will be the same, will be the same. So if suppose you are encountering with different schema, that is a different story. But as per the understanding prospect to truncating will going to be truncate all the values. If you want to update all the results, you can update that one. So that's how you can truncate your table corresponding to, it's going to be very helpful truncating all the values. So truncating the table is also very straightforward. Just to use the truncate keyword and give the table name. That's it. So I'm currently using some truncating of the different tables also. This is also allowed in all the databases. Currently we are using as a MySQL. So you can also truncate multiple tables by using this table one, table two, different names. SQL truncate table versus delete. What is the basic difference? So truncate will going to be helpful only to truncate the values. Okay, not the complete database and also the schema. Table may not be delete, table will be stay the same, but what will happen, you don't have any chance to roll back. Expect you can say you can use it for a transaction or not been committed at the time. But delete will going to be delete even the logs operations also. You can roll back the data that was deleted. And if you say the delete data, it's going to be a table preferred by the foreign key. Suppose you cannot use for the truncate table at the time, and you must use the delete statement instead of that. And also the truncate table is